Good evening and welcome everyone in the US and everyone in the UK. Hope everyone's okay. So tonight I've got my co-host Lois Haddo. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fine, Jacqueline. Hello, everyone. I've missed yous all.
And we've got a special guest tonight from National Paranormal Investigators. We've got somebody else coming from the team, but we've got a slight technical issue at the moment, but hope to get that resolved. So Claire Evans, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me along today.
So how are
Welcome,
you?
Claire.
Oh, I'm very good, thank you. Thank you, Lois. It's nice to meet you, so to speak.
Claire,
Technologically.
thank you very much. I'm always a quiet one because I've been doing a lot of college right now, so I've been under a wee bit of, tied to a laptop, and I'm not really a firm believer in the laptop either. I only use it for once a week, and that's to do my show. And it's just like now I'm just like constant. I feel like that wee cat in the gif that goes like that. That's exactly the way I feel.
Oh, welcome to my world. I'm always on a laptop. That's my day job, using a laptop all day. So then I can use it at night as a special offer. But yeah. Hi Irene, hope you're all right.
Hi, Irene.
So
Hi.
you have been doing paranormal a while now, Claire. So when did you first discover that you could see spirit? What's your
Well,
story?
quite it runs in the family, to be honest. My my mum's mum was the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter, which is quite sort of superstitious, very in
Oh
touch
wow.
with the afterlife and things like that. My dad's great auntie, she actually opened up the first spiritualist church in Glasgow. Jeannie Primrose was her name.
Wow.
So it's very much in the family, and I remember seeing spirit from ever since I can remember, to be honest. And the nice thing about it was we'd often sit around the breakfast table talking about the ghosts that we'd seen, or my mum would be like asking me, well, who was it, what do they look like, next time you see them, asking if they've got a message. So it was never a thing to be afraid of when I was growing up, and throughout my years, spirit, I was just got so used to having spirit around me, so it was just kind of natural that I sort of progressed in it, really.
So you're basically in training from the minute you were born,
Yeah,
weren't you?
basically. Yeah, so I suppose I was.
Hi Louisa.
Hi, Louisa. How you doing?
Thanks for sharing, Irene. So I've got Irene and Louisa watching and a few others at the moment. So when did you set up a team? So when did you start setting up the team? Or what
So
actually led you to set the team up?
well, the sort of the way my journey went was I'd kind of had spirit in my life for quite a significant time. Then when I got to my teenage years, the energies that were around me became a bit darker, and more intimidating, and I had to kind of like take a step back from it all for quite a while. And it wasn't until I was pregnant, with my youngest, that I kind of felt that I got it back, so to speak. I became a lot more in tune with stuff and more sensitive again. So then I started sitting in a development circle, and this was all sort of going on, in line with various jobs that I had. I was doing fostering care work, worked in a school, and stuff like that. And then in 2016, a friend of mine who runs a very successful business in Milton Keynes as a psychic medium asked me to go into business with her. But I didn't have any confidence with it at the time, because it is one of those things that you just think, am I making this up? Am I imagining stuff? It's I question it all the time, and I didn't have the confidence to do it. So I said no. And then lo and behold, about 6 weeks later, I had a really bad fall. Ended up smashing in both my knees and had to take considerable amount of time off work. And I thought, I think this is the universe is trying to tell me something here. So I gave that up, the job I was working in a school at the time, and took on the mediumship full time, and started off doing the events and stuff. And I had been a guest in paranormal teams before, and another friend of mine, he sort of suggested that we set up our own team,
Oh,
which we did, which was then National Paranormal Investigators. Unfortunately, he had to take a step back, through work commitments and family stuff going on, and I just kind of took over the running of it. And yes, I think it's coming up for 7 years this year that it's been running for now.
wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
And
What's
it's
been your what's been your favourite location so far, Claire?
I think it all depends, because, as you know, all different places offer different things. I think if you want somewhere where you're going to go and you're going to connect with lots of different spirits that are going to share like their history, share the secrets of the building. I'd probably say Harlington Manor was a really good one, but
That
we've
was
got a lovely
special.
little. But Sharnbrook, you know, Sharnbrook is a go-to favourite of mine, because although it's a small venue, we've been there about 8 times now, and every time we go now, we're starting to connect to the same spirits, and it's almost like going back to see friends.
Absolutely.
But my all-time favourite, I suppose, has got to be the Ram Inn. I love the Ram Inn because it has that sort of darkness to it, which I do love.
I
Do you
haven't
know
been there
it's
yet.
one of the places? Yeah, I was just going to say the exact same as Jacqueline. It's one of the places I would love to explore. I've heard so much about it and I've read so much about it.
We're back there, actually. We're going there. I think it's the 28th of May. So we've got East Drive and the Ram Inn in May. So it's going to be an interesting month. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the 28th. So let me just double check. But yeah, if you've never done it, you have to go to the Ram Inn. And don't get me wrong, like, yeah, 28th of May, like with many venues, you know, sometimes you can go and it kicks off and you've got loads of stuff going on. Other times you go and you're thinking there's absolutely nothing happening here. So it is a bit hit and miss, the Ram, but I think East Drive is the same as well, to be fair.
Do you think the Ram was different when John was alive, though?
Yeah, I think obviously because now I feel his presence. I'm sure a lot of people do and have felt his presence more so within the property, like downstairs especially. But I don't know, it's a funny building. It's just got so many layers to it. I think when I go back in May, it'll be my 5th time going.
Wow,
And like I say, each time is completely different, you know.
that's brilliant. So do you pick up some of the same characters?
Do I what, sorry?
Do you pick up some of the same characters there?
Yeah, I think that I went the first time I went, I picked up on some pretty, excuse my French, weird shit. Okay, there was weird stuff going on in there. Really weird. And the good thing about it though was 2 of the things I had experienced and things that I had seen. Most Haunted went in about 6 months later, and they drew and experienced exactly the same thing I had. So it kind of made me realize I wasn't going nuts, but I haven't seen them things the last couple of times I've been. I've only ever seen them once, so I don't know if someone's gone in and got rid of them or whatever. But yeah, it's
Right,
just
okay. We're just going to have a natural break. We've got Titch coming on.
yay.
So let's start the issues, and welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
Oh,
So we kind of left Titch to it, and we thought we'd start over the show. Oh, Howard. Oh, bless you. Get well soon, mate.
Oh, hello. Get well soon, Howard.
Send as much healing as you can to Howard, please.
Oh, on its way, mate.
Oh, nice to see you. But Titch, where did all this start for you? What was your first paranormal or strange encounter?
my first paranormal event was with Claire. I think we were talking about this the other day, and it was about I think it was about 7 years ago or nearly 8 years ago. And it was at a local place, York House, and I'd never been on a paranormal evening before. I was a bit apprehensive, very skeptical, didn't really know what to expect, and it was quite interesting. But I do remember being very skeptical about what was happening. We did some table tipping. I think there was a Ouija board, and it was I'd gone with a friend of mine. And yeah, and it was just a really weird experience for the first time. And then at the end of the evening, there was, and Claire might laugh at this, because Claire was doing some, I think it wasn't transit, it was some channeling, I think you were doing, of a gentleman. I say gentleman quite loosely. He was quite an angry, irate fella, and Claire was channeling him. And there was about, I would say, it must have been a good 15 of us in the room. And Jenny Grayson was also there, hosting with Claire. And Jenny was asking Claire questions. And Claire was just very irate and angry, yelling, threatening. And
Wow,
she
I'd like to see that.
stormed out of the room, and kind of left the whole sort of room with a kind of like tumbleweed.
And that was your first ever experience as well.
And that was the end of the evening of my first experience. It was kind of like, okay.
That's quite a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously you got to know Claire after that, because you know that Claire is not this character.
No, I mean, I had known Claire before that. I just hadn't known her from the paranormal evenings. So yeah, so it was quite an eye opener, and also very intriguing as well. So, like I said, I still maintain, even now, all these years later, I still maintain a level of skepticism, because I think that's quite healthy to do. But at the same time, I just know that first experience will probably stay with me forever. That one.
Yeah.
That was mad.
First experience does though, doesn't it?
But that's what I quite like about the group. See, when you've got a group and you've got, they're not all believers, I like that. I like to have a skeptical in the group, because it's always good to hear a skeptical's point of view.
Definitely. Definitely. I think I lost my voice for like 5 days after that, because I was literally shouting. I mean, like Jenny is the lady that I said asked me to go into business with her. Like, she's a friend of mine. And I think I turned around to her and I said, "Shut your effing mouth, or I'm going to snap your effing neck." And I literally, like, I was trying, I could feel my body was trying to pick up this table to throw it at her. And I left the room. I thought, I've got to get out of here, because this is getting just too, I'm going to lose control here. So I just ran out of the room. But yeah, it was a bit scary.
Oh wow, that's mad. Yeah. So after that, you went back to more then, Tish?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can't keep me away now.
That's it. I think there's just one thing, and that's that. You just can't stop going. It becomes an obsession, doesn't it?
I mean, there are so many days, so many nights, and I go in a location, I'm sort of sat in the cold, in the dark, I'm freezing cold, I'm knackered, and I'm like, I've sat here for hours and nothing's happening. I'm not doing this anymore. And then it's like, right, I've booked so-and-so, and I've booked this, and I've booked that.
Yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant. And I do like what happened at Harlington Manor. So basically, you booked, it's like a retreat, wasn't it? It's like a weekend. Yeah. And it was mainly like spiritual people who went, rather than people on the paranormal front. So me and Ben Winfield went, and we spoke a bit about like outside of things, which, cheers for that. And you basically show people how to investigate. And you did 2 nights of investigation, and basically you picked up a story, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I thought it was nice, because although I use equipment, and I tend to sort of like try not to use equipment myself personally for my own personal experience, just because I'm a medium, so I like to connect to the energies there rather than anything else. So I wanted to sort of showcase how you could do an investigation using the technology and the equipment and everything else like that, blah blah blah. But then also on the second day is very much about like more sort of physical mediumship. So like how to use the Ouija board, how to use our own gifts, our own intuition and stuff like that. So then the second night was no equipment, and helping people how to make those connections. So yeah, it was really, really good fun.
Yeah, and from the minute I walked in on Saturday, I was there overnight and sort of did the ghost hunt. I picked up feelings, and then there's a couple of like things I felt, and it all came together right at the end.
It did. It did.
Like,
and I meant to tell you, Jackie, you know, we were doing the table bit, the seance bit, like with the sort of the man-made Ouija board, and they were talking about the drowning in the swimming pool.
Yes.
And we knew that there was a little pool out the back. There actually was a pool, a proper swimming pool there, where the public could use it. The people in the village could go and use it as well. We never knew that.
Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah. Oh yeah, Louise. Yeah, I met Louise and Ben for a bit there. It was brilliant. And
hi Louise. Oh yeah, because Louise came with you, didn't she?
Such an awesome weekend. But yeah, the fact that we picked stuff up, and right at the end we were doing the board, and I was getting these questions, and Spirit was going, "You don't. That's too much information. You don't need to say that." He was getting really stroppy at me because I was coming out with stuff, and I think it was a bit too. I think I was coming out with stuff he didn't want to come
Yeah.
be made public.
He didn't
That's
want
what
to talk.
happens at East Drive. That happened at East Drive. I think I was probing too much, and literally we had loads of activity. We had like equipment going off all simultaneously, and then I asked a question and it just went boof, dead, and that was it for the night. I was like, sugar, I need to stop asking too many questions.
Yeah, it's natural to ask questions though, isn't it? That's what we do.
Yeah.
No, I went out to the Railway Cottage, which is a location at the moment which quite a few are going to and seeing what they get. And I was just asking tons of questions, and they're sort of quite happy answering on a REM pod. They really went for the REM pods to use, but yeah, it's brilliant.
That's not the one that there's some stuff going on about the murder of the policeman and stuff.
Yeah, I went there.
Oh,
It's
right.
cool. Brilliant location.
Okay.
Originally it got advertised as a poster, and I don't read what is said, basically. You know, I deliberately keep away. It's a great opportunity. You're going in, you give a donation to get in a location, and you're just free just to investigate as you please, but without a Ouija board. And yeah, we had a great time, you know, and we found out some things. And the owner's actually putting all the information together. So she's building a file up, everything, and she's got somebody local who's actually looking at the history and trying to tie it all up. But yeah, it was brilliant. It really was. So yeah, I went with AJ Walker, who's watching, and Van, and we had a fantastic time. So,
Good.
yeah.
And that's what it's
Brilliant
about.
location. I definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Whereabouts is it?
It's near Chesterfield.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a shell of a house. We're told that. Yeah, it was just brilliant. It really was. And
I think they're the best ones though, aren't they? The smaller ones.
Yeah, but hasn't every house got a history?
Of course it has.
You know, you've had people live there. You've got history from the land. And I've picked up on something at the house, and I've got the image in my head now. I can't prove it yet, but when they delve more into the history, maybe it can be found. And people who are mediums will probably pick up the information. I'm just waiting for that to be validated. And Jan's got some photos which are quite interesting on the the camera does pink images. And she's picked up a mist on the stairs, which looked really interesting.
Oh my God.
I forgot what it's called. Full spectrum, isn't it? Yeah. And there's a mist on the stairs, and it's weird because there isn't. And it was just very interesting investigation. And I work with these cool people as well. Isn't it great? You know. So
I must admit, I would love to go with Vonnie and AJ on
full
an
spectrum.
investigation.
I'm shocking, aren't I? I'm really good at technical, as you can see. Yeah, the photos which have come out, brilliant.
And the older I'm getting, the worse I'm getting. I'm becoming one of those old ladies that can't even work the bloody remote control. What's going on?
But yeah, so Van asked about East Drive then. So what do you think of East Drive then, Claire?
So East Drive was a bit of a nightmare, to be fair, because I booked it pre-COVID and we were due to go in May of 2020. So of course, when the restrictions and everything came in, it had to be put on hold and blah, blah, blah. So I had to then split it into two separate events because it could only take 6 people. So we kind of got there, and it's one of those places, I think, as you know, when it's all hyped up and you've got all the expectations, you've got the books and the films and everything, you know that you're sort of going in primed as this is going to be a great place. This is going to, we're going to get loads of stuff going on. So I tried to go in with not thinking that, it's a house, it is all hyped up. Go in and see for yourself what's going on in there. And like I say, at the beginning, we didn't really pick much up, but it got to about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I think we arrived there about 6:30, but about 8:30, 9 o'clock. and we could definitely feel there was something going on. We kept seeing like somebody walking past the door in the living room. We could hear sounds going out in the kitchen and stuff like that. So it was still daytime, so we're trying to establish, could it be cars going past, could it be this, could it be that. We're just trying to rule everything out as much as we could. And then we literally, for about half an hour, the energy just, it was like somebody just turned on all the power in the whole of the house, and you could just feel like the vibrations on the floor, and it just felt intimidating, I suppose is the only word I can really use. I'm not convinced in the Black Monk story, just purely because things don't add up. You know, they say that there's a Black Monk there. They don't know who he is, but they know he's got a twin brother. How do you know he's got a twin brother if you don't know who he is? And yeah, I'm like, I don't understand this. But I personally felt that the energies that I was connecting to was the owners that lived in there before. I don't think it was anything dark and sinister. I think it was the owners that were coming through, the husband and wife that lived there.
Yeah, that's it.
But do you not think
you will get something?
Do you not think?
Yeah,
do you not think that paranormal's quite like that though? Like Chinese whispers, like you could have this house, right, and then it's haunted, and it could, before you even know it, could be haunted by a witch or demon. You know, wee Dave that used to live there. Do you know what? It's Chinese whispers. I think the more that people put a tail on it. So that's how I just love going in, like yourself, Claire. I don't like going in with equipment. I've totally gone off equipment for some reason. And I think it's because I've went now and we use my senses and seeing, and then maybe saying to myself, right, well, let's look at it after and let's see.
I think the problem that we have as well with the equipment element of things is that you could get the best capture, you know, you could get the best piece of evidence on camera, but people will go, it's fake, it's Photoshop, it's this, it's that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, if I'm doing it for the benefit of other people, I'd rather not. I'd rather do it for the benefit of myself.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know that Viv and Dan had that conversation? I love they two. I love sitting watching their shows. They're absolutely brilliant. And they were talking about that as well. They were talking about how much people put up their work, and the first thing people do is they'll always come down and say it's fake, or it's this, or it's that, and it's the next thing. And it puts a lot of people off of putting their work on Facebook or putting their work anywhere, because they're always getting shot down. And it's like,
disheartening, isn't it?
It is, it's horrible.
Yeah, I've got photos of me, like there's two which have been around Haunted Antiques. Me where my face changed, and me where there's like white light coming out of a box, which looks a lot different from your typical orb dust photo. And then I've also got a couple of photos as well, and you can't really put it out there, can you? Because
well, it's like Kirsty at that video that I got from Woodchester Mansion. You remember that one? I mean, that's probably, I think, of all the evidence that we've got, is probably our most sort of unexplainable sort of image or camera video that we've got. And literally, before, I'm down in the basement all on my own, and I actually show my breath. I go, this is what my breath looks like, and you can see my breath. And I'm facing that way, and there's no one in there with me, and I literally say, I can feel something coming in behind me, standing behind me now. And as I pan round that, this full body of thick mist just goes right across in front of me. And it's thick, you know, it's not even like human shape or anything. I can't explain it. And I know people are like, it's vape, someone's vaping, it's your breath. And I'm like, I've showed you my breath, I'm on my own, it's coming from a completely different direction. But yeah, people just don't want to believe it.
That's right. But like, if you know the person who's telling the tale, telling the story, you know that they're credible. Like, I trust you two, I trust Lois, and I trust everyone on here who I've met. You know, like, we've got Helen watching, who's got the Railway Cottage, who helps. She helps, gives you the keys basically. So yeah, I've got Helen watching. Cheers.
Hi, Helen.
The weekend. That was brilliant.
Hi.
And yeah, it's just about believing things, isn't it? But I know that anything that you submit, I believe it, because I know how you work.
Yeah. And I was going to say to you, if people come out with us on evenings, they will see how much we debunk.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much. You have to be with us to realize that, you know, not everything that we hear or sense, whatever we take as, you know, face value, we debunk a hell of a lot. And as a team, we have to really be convinced ourselves that there's something actually going on or happening or what we're picking up. So yeah, in terms of when we do put, like Claire said, when she did put that video up, that's something quite rare and quite special.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But you know, we've tried all the avenues to debunk it before we go, oh, we've captured this, you know.
I mean, even as a sensitive and as a medium, it's like I'm very much in, we don't all feel the same stuff. So just because I'm not picking up that there's a man in this room or whatever, it doesn't mean that that man isn't there. Yes, I'm a sensitive and I'm a medium, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to pick up on the same stuff as everybody else. Do you know what I mean? We all sort of work on different layers and different energies.
That's right. Like what I picked up the other day, I you know, I do want somebody else to come out with that, but I haven't made it that public. Because I want somebody else to find it off their own, rather than watch a video, which is what's happened, sort of thing, and everyone's saying the same story when actually, you know, we know what's, you know, you just go and see what you can get yourself. And I usually do a write-up of where I go, but I'm not going to mention things because I want somebody else to get that same evidence. So, Michael, I'm Ghost Encounters Global. The best evidence we got on camera was a ghost riding a bike in the woods.
Wicked.
How awesome is that?
That would be great to see.
It would be even more awesome if he was delivering a pizza. If he had a pizza box on the back of his bike, wouldn't it?
You just want too much.
Yeah, I would definitely tip them for that one.
Well, it should be delivering some gin.
I just wanted to go back to something that Lois said earlier on about about houses and things, and what we were both saying it about how the energy in the house and stuff like that. And I laugh to myself sometimes because I've been living in my house now for 11 years, and I've been doing I do obviously the paranormal investigations. I do my readings in this room. You know, I do people that got attachments and stuff like that. I do the healing in here with them. Yeah, who knows? You know, in say 30 years' time, there could be a family in here going, there was this witch that lived there once, and this was the room that she worked in, and there was ghosts and dead people and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's quite cool. Who knows?
That's it. In my case, it'll be, see that crabbit bitch that lived in this house.
Oh, bless you. I don't know. So, let's start with you then, Titch. So, which location would you love to go to, which you haven't been to before? Anywhere in the world?
Oh, goodness. Anywhere in the world. I think I'd quite like, I would love actually to go to Machu Picchu. It's more on a spiritual side.
Yeah.
That element, Machu Picchu, but also it was something that I posted a link to on the page, on the group's page, about a week ago or so, and that is to go to a crypt. I think there was one in Paris.
That's the one I want to go to.
The Paris, is that the catacombs?
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, and
that's on my list.
That's probably up there.
Well, it is Machu Picchu.
Well, it is. They're two quite contrasting places, really. But yeah, they kind of hit the mark on. I have quite an eclectic range of interest on that scale. So
top and bottom.
Yeah, quite like the light and the dark together. So
yeah, Machu Picchu. It's fascinating, isn't it?
But it would be amazing what you could pick up from there.
Yeah, definitely. So, Claire, where would you like to go?
I definitely would like to visit the catacombs. There are some places that I would like to go to, but I worry about, like, that's obviously that there's a couple of places where you've had a lot of like battles and things like that, but I kind of think that the energy might be a little bit overwhelming in some places.
Yeah.
I am very sensitive, and I feel a lot of the emotion and pain and stuff like that. So I don't know if I could handle that, but definitely the catacombs. But I would love to do Leap Castle in Ireland.
Yeah, it's a
Hmm.
beautiful location.
Yeah, because it is so pretty, and Ireland is just an amazing place anyway to investigate. So, hi Vivian.
Yeah, I've been along Lochstrang and around the Giant's Causeway and around that area. It's beautiful.
Oh wow,
It really
yeah.
is. Yeah.
But
And
we're
would
doing
like to.
Margam
Oh,
Castle,
Vivian.
doing
Yes.
Margam next month, and that is a place that I've always wanted to go. So I'm
Oh,
really excited about that.
yeah, I used to go by it as a kid all the time because I always go to Gower. So yeah, I'd
Oh,
go by there. I kind of forgot where it was, but yeah, I'd love to
have you
go
ever
there.
done
But
Hinchinbrook? Have you done Hinchinbrook at all?
no, no.
Yeah,
I'm
going
kind
there
of
as well next month.
I'm kind of restricted about an hour around me basically because I've got a dog, and I've got
Oh
him
yeah.
booked in kennels about 5 times this year already.
Oh, no.
So I can't really do any more sort of trips away.
Oh, can you not book places where you can take dogs with you, like to stay over? Obviously, like just leave him in the venue, at the accommodation.
No, not really.
Hmm.
I'm going to Skegness. I'm going to leave him in the car.
Okay.
Um, the there's a campsite right next door to the location, so it's fine. I met Viv there. Did the Parafest at Church Farm. So there's a campsite there, so I can leave him in the car while I do about an hour, then go back and see him.
Oh, oh
So
bless.
if you actually,
Oh, bless.
you can actually nip in the grounds anyway, because I can sort of sit there with him in the grounds. He actually grounds that spirit anyway. So that's nice to, get that validation as well.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, I
actually
must admit, I
sad
always
that
use my
two
dog.
spirits.
I always use my dog to tell me, like, when I've come in from an investigation at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like, how is a dog going to react? Have I closed down
Yeah,
properly?
that's the big, isn't it? Mine,
What
I
kind of
think,
dog you got, Claire?
We're not 100% sure if she's a rescue dog, but I think she's definitely got Shih Tzu in her. But we think she might have either Tibetan Terrier or some form of poodle. Not quite sure. She's lovely. She's a lovely dog.
oh,
Oh, I love animals. Absolutely love animals.
Oh, bless
yeah.
her.
They certainly can see things though, can't they?
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
brilliant. So I've got a question here from Michael Rayton then. Start off with Claire this time then. What equipment is the best one to use for you? Apart from
Um,
yourself.
well, obviously a notebook and pen and stuff like that, but actually, we really have got into doing the SDS method recently.
Yeah.
We've done it at quite a few locations, and the nice thing is as well, it kind of combines the technology side with the mediumship, because I find with the sensory deprivation, I also then can see more through the third eye. And we had an amazing session at Hinckley recently, where we were in the attic room, which is the old seance room,
Yeah.
and we were connecting to this little girl, and this information was coming through. So Kirsty was asking me questions, and obviously the information was coming through the spirit box. But then I wasn't in the room. I was in a mine. I looked down, the floor was wet, full of water, and there was a wall and rocks, and I realised I was in a mine,
Wow.
and I was getting dates and names and stuff like that. And we actually Googled the dates, the place, and there was a mine collapsed and 100 people died.
Oh,
So
wow.
it combining the two, and of course you've got people that are witnessing it as well. So not only are you able to record it, you're able to actually physically see what is going. So yeah, it was pretty mad. It was really good.
That's brilliant. Yeah, we did the Estes method at the weekend, and Von got some great information through.
It is
Yeah,
good.
it was fantastic. So, Titch, for you, what's your best piece of equipment?
Well, again, I'm a bit like Claire in not wanting to use sort of the more technical side of things. So the pendulum and the rods.
Yeah.
I
I have
find
trouble with the rods.
good organic stuff. But again, it's the natural senses, and very much in sort of working with the team. So where
Yep.
Claire said earlier, about, we don't always pick up on the same stuff. But what quite often happens is, because we've got quite a mix of energies between us, we will pick up on different things, and it all actually comes together and fits in. And with the regular people that come out with us as well, their energies, over time, because they've come out with us so often, we find that we all work very well together, and the energies gel. Equally, when we have new people come out with us, again, because it's very much that energy level and working with the energies. And we've been on some recent investigations, local ones, Westbury, to give an example, and we run the evening where we split into groups and go into different parts of the building, and then swap around so that everybody gets a chance, and we try not to share too much information, so that we all get that opportunity, so that we're not influenced, that we don't have any kind of bleed over until we sort of read the book, or we're towards the end of the evening.
Yeah, we write everything down in a book. We get everyone to write stuff down in a notebook.
That's good, yeah.
And we find that there's repetition of what people are picking up on, but we haven't shared that information between the groups, so that's good sort of confirmation of
that's what you did at Harlington, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You reviewed all the information, but then we went through, reviewed it, and then on the board that night it all came out, which was
so in a sense, to answer the original question, I think one of the best pieces of equipment is your team.
Nice one, yeah.
Especially if you've got a strong bond, that's what makes a team, and that's what makes it even better, is if you've got a strong bond with each other. But the worst thing that you could do is have just even a tiny bit of atmosphere, because I just feel that wouldn't work. But see, if you've got a strong team, the more that you will work together, and the more you gel, and the more you will, pick up on things. Which takes me to the question, Titch. Is there anything that you've ever experienced that you've said to yourself, I can't actually explain that, as a skeptic's point of view?
I think not being able to explain it. I don't know. That's a difficult one. That's a difficult one to answer, simply because there's a lot of things that you can't explain. I mean, there's we go out and we're picking up on this information. We're looking for proof, but sometimes we get that proof. So you could say everything is you can't explain when you go and have that experience for the whole night. But I can only think of occasions when the experience that I'm having is quite overwhelming, and that has an element of you can't quite explain. I mean, you can explain it in terms of the technique or the method that you're using at the time. So you can explain it to a certain degree, but to be picking up on emotions of people, and that it's not yours, that is sort of, you can kind of go, well, hang on a minute, how was that happening? And again, you can explain it to a degree, but you can't.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You can sort of tell the story, can't you? You can say what's happened, but you, like the way I do it, I sort of go to people, well, you've just got to go with this story. This is what happened. Yeah, it sounds random, and you can't make sense of it because you just don't know, do you?
I think
we're always saying as well, even with sort of development and
Annalise.
there's always that element of self-doubt when you are picking up on stuff, because you do wonder if you're making it up, or what you're feeling or what you're getting is actually real. Is it your own imagination?
That's
right. Is it from, earlier when you were saying about, is it from stories, or is it from snippets of information that other people have gleaned, or other people have experienced?
Or the power of suggestion, where you keep telling yourself, if you tell yourself you're going to go out and look for something, so automatically you're going to psychology tell yourself, I'm looking for something.
Yeah,
it's like if you're at an event and you're holding hands and someone says, "Oh, I feel cold," then most people in that circle suddenly feel cold.
Or I can smell burning. Everyone will smell burning.
Oh yeah, everyone can smell burning. So yeah, you've always got that one, haven't you?
I think the problem that humans have now is because information is so easy to access. We all just pick up our phone and just Google everything.
Yeah,
if it doesn't exist online or on Google, it's completely discounted. But we do not know what happened hundreds, unless it's been documented. And to be fair, back then, a lot of things weren't documented. There was like awful crimes that were committed that were very, very easily hidden back then. You didn't have your DNA, you didn't have your CCTV everywhere, so people were murdered in the most unusual places. And just because it's not documented online, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And that's where I get really frustrated.
Yeah. I picked up on something at Wollerton Hall in Nottingham, and it's about a person. Now, I don't even think he'll have a birth record. Because I think people like him, probably the family didn't want him, so they locked him up somewhere out the way, basically. So would there be a record of his birth?
Maybe not.
And that's a question, isn't it? But what you want is somebody else to go to that location and go, yeah, I got that as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is nearly all the validation you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We've got Viv. Viv's got a question. So do you think that mediumship perception and feelings, empathetic feelings, can actually detract from an investigation and the actual haunting?
Do you think that mediumship perception and empathic feelings can actually detract from an investigation and the actual haunting? No, I think it all kind of sits under the same umbrella. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going there to investigate spirits, and mediumship is just another way of connecting to spirits. So no, it's all about energy and vibrations and levels and stuff like that. So no, I think going on a Facebook Live can certainly, I find that the more worrying about the equipment and the technology side of things actually spoils it for me, because I'm not able to make those links and make those connections, and it becomes quite cold for me. Whereas I'd much rather put the equipment down and do the mediumship side of it. But it's, everywhere is different. Like I say, some places you pick up on energy very quickly and you get those feelings and stuff like that. I suppose the only time that probably could sort of detract from the investigation itself is if when I was overshadowed at York House, like Kirsty was talking about earlier on, we had to kind of call quits on the night then, because it got a little bit too much, so yeah, I suppose in that sense it can disrupt the investigation at times.
Yeah. From my perspective, I think if a team has a medium on the team and they sort of spend all the night saying what they're getting, that doesn't help for the guests sometimes. So I think sometimes, like, the guests have to be the forefront of what's happening, and they should find things out. And then if a medium's finding things out, then it should be mentioned afterwards.
Well, if you ever come out on investigation with us as a team, you know that I mean, obviously,
you wouldn't give me anything. No.
Pick up on stuff, but I tend to take a step back, and if someone says, "Oh, I've got a feeling," I'll sit with them. What are you feeling? Close your eyes.
Yeah,
what can you see? Male, female? Because I want them to enjoy it the way I enjoy it. So I would much rather work with somebody to experience that themselves than me. I can stand there and go, "Oh, there's a man who's doing this, he's saying he's da-da-da-da-da." But I'm not a performing monkey. They're not there to see me. They're there to investigate the place.
That's right. Yeah. Anything to add, Titch?
Well, yeah, with I agree with what Claire has said, and to answer the question, you know, there are times when it could detract. I think it does all depend on how you manage the evening.
Yeah, that's right.
Because at the end of the day, as a team, we're there to you know, allow the guests to have the best experience that they can
That's
have.
right. Yeah.
And it's also about allowing people to have that experience, to be interactive. But certainly from my perspective, when we split into groups and we're leading groups and such, the leading of a group is all about actually stepping back and allowing the group.
That's right.
You lead to a certain degree. You can lead to sort of introduce, or if people are struggling or don't know what to ask, or you know, don't quite know what to do, which a lot of people that have never been on investigations before,
That's
you know,
right.
new to it, and they may need some sort of encouragement or guidance. But at the end of the day, you know, I've been on so many that, and I enjoy every one, but it's also about sometimes it's not all about the team. The team are there to make
That's right. Yeah.
to contribute to the evening.
You're kind of there to present.
Yeah.
Not from the, you know, you sort of say, oh, there you go, this is the board, you know, have a go, and
Yeah.
and guidance, isn't it, really?
It is very much guidance. And then,
Sort of
you
get
know,
the energy levels up, keep people awake.
And
but we've had people say to us, like, well, aren't you going to do? Aren't you going to do something? Like, aren't you going to make things happen? And we're like, what do you mean? Well, shouldn't you be like throwing things, or, you know? And we're like, what? This isn't, you know, because the TV glamorize it. Don't get me wrong, there are some good programs out there, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot out there that, you know, it is over dramatized. It's for entertainment purposes only. So some people, they do expect you to be like performing monkeys. They do want to be entertained, and that's not what we do.
No.
Yeah, well, you can
Well,
get
Claire, if you're ever looking for an idea, just get 2 fire extinguishers and make them look like they're beaky. There's always an idea. So what, winner?
Great idea.
Get stars.
Yeah, you can always find entertainers on the internet, but it's not the true sort of style of an event. When you're standing around in cold buildings and like calling out and stuff, but it's the thrill of the chase more than anything, isn't it? Just because you might actually get something for a minute, and that will just make your whole night.
Yeah, it's a bit like an adrenaline sport, really, isn't it? It's like prepare for hours and hours, and then that thrill and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I get a little bit complacent with it sometimes, though, because I think I've lived with it, you know, and I know there's been times where I've said to Titch, oh, it wasn't that great tonight, was it? There wasn't that much going on. But then actually, when I think about it, there was a lot going on. But I think my expectations are just becoming a little bit unrealistic sometimes. Poor spirits.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocking now, because usually, like, the cat ball will generally go off with me. I think my dad does it. I think he sort of yeah, and I had the REM go the other night, but I think that was the gentleman doing that. But you know, you just get something happen, and I kind of expect something to happen every time, really, even if it is the cat ball or something. But yeah, and it's great, isn't it? I just love it.
We've had some really good we've had some really good experiences at Sharnbrook, with like connecting to the energy. This is the place I sort of said to you that every time we go, we feel like we're going back to see our friends. I don't think you weren't online at that point, Titch. And like, there's a gentleman there called William that we've picked up on a couple of times now, and we've done like sessions where I've sat there, got this old wheelchair, and I've written a letter to somebody, and while I'm actually sat writing that letter, another part of the team have found a case with that person's name in that case as well, and being given an image of something with writing on it, to then have noises coming from an area to go, and it's that item that's making those sounds. It's a really, really good place, Sharnbrook. Definitely recommended.
Brilliant. If we go back to the previous conversation, then I get slightly out of sync here. That's my fault, sorry. Viv makes a point. You also get mediums that don't know the difference from energy from the living or departed loved ones and the actual haunting, if you know what I mean.
Don't know the difference. Oh, right. So basically, you could be picking up the energy of somebody who's passed away that's connected to somebody that's there. Yeah, that happened. That happened when we were at Westbury. Last time we were at Westbury, one of the gentleman's grandmothers came through, and it was literally a quick message from her. Once the message was given, she kind of took a step back, and then he wanted to connect with her a little bit more at the end of the evening. So yeah, that does happen. But I think knowing the difference between the energies that are there and the energies that are connected to people, and then I think once you've verified that and you've given the message, they then tend to take a step back.
Yeah, like my mum and I took my mum and dad to the ghost hunt. I took them to Leicester, and I knew somebody was sitting alongside me. I thought that was my mum. So we turned up in this auditorium, and I knew I got this person next door to me. And then the guy came on stage to start the night with health and safety and everything. He says, "You got a lady next door?" I said, "Yeah, it's my mum." He said, "You got a person in a wheelchair behind you?" I says, "Oh, I don't know," but not realising the last 4 weeks of my dad's life is in a wheelchair. You kind of forget that thing because generally it wasn't. So yeah, I took my mum and dad. And the thing is, they knew Leicester, and when they were living there, they went there every week. So I took them on a little trip. And they mentioned my dog. They mentioned my dog, and they mentioned another dog's name called Mr. Bones. And Mr. Bones doesn't mean anything to anyone, and it did to me. And it actually warned me that my dog was ill, and he was, and he died. But yeah, so it's amazing how it works because they just gave me enough to like tip me off a bit. So
Yeah.
And all through the night, I knew exactly what they meant. You do, don't you? But
I think a lot of it is about setting your intention as well. When we open up, we say our intention is to connect to the energies of those that are connected to the building or connected to the land, etc. And so, yeah, it is quite rare, isn't it, Titch, that would happen, that somebody would come through connected to a guest.
And I think it is just being aware. It's like you say, being aware of the difference. Because equally as well, I think part of the question was the living, energies of the living. So, you can pick up on energies, when you're sensitive and you're empathic, you pick up on energies of the other people in the group. So knowing the difference between those energies, a lot of people that come on the evenings have anxiety, have that fear, are a little bit sort of apprehensive. So you can be picking up on those energies as well. So it's knowing the difference and being aware of your own. If you've got a high awareness of your own energy levels, then you can be picking up on the different energies that are mixed in for the whole caboodle, so to speak.
Yeah.
And obviously the energy of a group makes a massive difference to the kind of investigation you have as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it only takes one miserable person just to kill it all night, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we tend to say to people, look, we can, you can't guarantee that you're gonna have, you're gonna experience spirit. We can guarantee you can have a good time because we'll do whatever we can to make sure that, if there's a little bit of fun, a bit of a laugh, a bit of banter, or whatever. Obviously, we take the investigation side very, very seriously. But we are good friends, and we do have a really, really good energy and good connection between the team. And we're at the point now where if one of us has got a little bit of there's something that's bothering us, we'll talk to each other. We'll put it out there. I'm not happy about this. Let's talk about it. Let's sort it out. We're not one for whisper, two-facedness, or backstabbing.
Yeah,
that's not us.
That's good, but that's unfortunately the most paranormal world, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know
But
that's
yeah.
what I love about? I save all my tomfoolery for on the way to investigation because the energy can get that high, and I absolutely love it because I'll just sit there and just act like a pure idiot, and then see by the time we get to investigation, serious head on, let's go.
Well, I'm sure we've all had the same where you've kind of like, when you're sort of stood chatting and having a bit of a laugh, there's stuff going on. It's like, did you hear that? It's, because it builds the energy up.
Yeah, like nothing's happening. So you have a chat about something, all of a sudden, like, hello, you're ignoring me.
Or you could do what I do. You could do what I do. Ask for a sign, and then a bat comes flying at you. I did that in an investigation. I says, I says, take the energy from me. I says, show me a sign that you're here. And the next thing, a bat flew through the window, and I just went, let's scream it. It's like,
Oh,
that.
Mother
You and your
Nature.
I hate bats, absolutely hate them.
It's funny actually, Lois, because you just reminded me that one of the most like the shortest amount of time, maybe about 2 or 3 seconds, when my heart was in my mouth, where I actually thought, oh my God, I'm going to die. We went to Clop Hill. I don't know if you know Clop Hill. It's quite a
Yeah,
famous
I've
park.
actually watched a film about Clop Hill.
Have you really? I've not seen that. You'll have to send me the link to that.
Yeah.
But
Is that the church, isn't it?
yeah, so they do a lot of like satanic rituals and stuff in there, and it was
I'll send you
deconsecrated.
the video.
Yeah, please do. Well, we apparently there was an old village. The original village had been buried because of anthrax or something like that, some kind of disease, and they were trying to locate the original part of the village. So we were walking through these fields, and we kind of gone through like this boundary line of these hedges, and then there was a clearing, and as we reached the clearing, in the distance we could see these hooded figures, about 10 hooded figures with these glowing red eyes. Okay, now I literally was like, what the? And then when we turned a torch on, it was a load of black cows lying down in a field. I was like a bit relieved, and also a little bit disappointed as well, to be fair.
Mhm. Well, I know who I'm taking with me. I'm taking Vivian for my protection, since she loves bats.
Oh, I do. They're brilliant. Yeah,
I'll take that
I
Vivian with
like
me.
bats. I like watching them in summer, sort of from
Yeah,
my
Woodchester
garden.
mansions. Don't ever go to Woodchester then, Lois. You'd hate it. There's loads of bats there.
Oh wow, awesome.
Do you know what it is? It was when I grew up, when I was younger. We stayed in this house, and uh, in the back of the back of my house, there was this big tree. And it was one night I was playing football, because I was quite a tomboy when I was younger. Not that that's changed 33 years later, but I kicked the ball, and obviously when I kicked the ball, it hit off the tree, and this bat flew out of nowhere, and it gave me a fright because I'd never seen it.
Oh,
And apparently, our tree was infested with bats. That's where all the bats used to hang out, was this tree, and I was like, oh.
bless
Wow.
you. Stuck with you since.
It has, because the last house we were in, we had two. One was dead though in the sink, and then the other one, my cat, my poo. My cat
Oh,
was like, one night it was
Oh,
trying to like hit into the back bedroom, and I was chasing her away. And my man's sitting with the headphones on. Okay, he's a laugh. Sitting with the headphones on, and I'm like, somebody's breaking in down the stairs. So I'm going like that to him. I'm like, Stephen. I says, there's somebody breaking in down the stairs, and he's like that. Well, go and check then. I was like, no, you go and check. So the next thing you know, he opens the door and he goes down the stairs, and the bat's flying around the living room.
oh
I could have
no.
smashed into the door and let the bat out. Well, I opened the door. There's a bat come up the stairs, screamed, shut the door, and I was like, I'm seeing things. I'm like, a bat? No, that can't be a bat. It was a bat. I was like, oh God,
Oh,
oh
bless
wow.
you.
no.
That'd
Not
be
what
so
I'm
you
just,
cool, though. I think
I
that'd
was
be
just
really
like,
cool.
no.
that would be
Snakes
cool.
and bats. That's the two things that I'll not handle.
Oh wow. So what's your favourite sort of location then, Claire? Tunnels, castles, asylums?
Do you know what? I've not actually done a proper asylum. I've done a building that was once an asylum for a short period of time, but I would love to do an asylum. But castles, I think I do love, because I think it's a past life thing, you know. I think every time I
Don't
go
you,
to a
Helen?
castle, it's triggering off past lives and stuff like that, you know. I'd like to think I was like some kind of like really cool warrior or soldier, but I was probably a bloody cleaner or a chimney sweep or something like that. Um, but yeah, I do like dark places though. I must admit, you know, it's kind of they flick my switch, I think.
Yeah. And what about you, Titch?
I actually like the smaller locations, the more personal locations. So we've gone to quite a few manor houses. I like castles. The the older buildings. I know that's quite an obvious thing to say, but the local smaller locations I like. The only one I would say differently was we went to Shepton, and obviously that's quite a large
I'm
location.
going there soon. Yay!
Weird.
And
2 nights.
Oh.
we had quite a big group going there, which again we do tend to have smaller groups. They're more personable in that sense. But I came away from Shepton at the end of that night, and I thought it was an absolutely awesome place to go to.
I'm
and
going a double night. I am.
Everybody
Two
has an
nights on the
experience
trot.
in there.
Yeah, I'd love to go back there.
Yeah, there's only a few of us going. Richard Eastep's going, and Jay Dixon, and Sage team, and yeah, not just a few really, and yeah, 2 nights there of a trot. So gonna be shouted, but yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, that's it. Well, I don't pick up the first night. You know, you're going back again, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Try
Why
it out
not?
again. Yeah, if I'm in the area, I may as well go to both, and then sleep in the tent when I get out. So yeah.
We went to Glastonbury on the Sunday and just spent the afternoon in Glastonbury. No, was it the Saturday we went, wasn't it? We went for the weekend, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we went into Glastonbury. So thought travelling all that way, you may as well make the weekend of it.
Well, this is it. Like, if I'm going like Saturday and Sunday night, then I will put the tent up and nip to Glastonbury at some stage on the Saturday, and then have a sleep. I think ready for the night on the Sunday. But yeah. Oh, awesome! Lives there as well in April. Yay!
Oh, you and Dan. Oh, I just love you
Oh,
two,
that's
Viv.
brilliant. Yeah, well, that'd be cool. But yeah, I've never been there. I've been to a couple of prisons, and yeah, they're cool. Well, one was just like a lockup in Birmingham. It wasn't that big.
Oh, you'll love it in there, Jackie. You really will love it. It's just it's because it's so big. I mean, apart from the fact I kept getting lost,
I have issues with
losing
that.
my bearings.
Yeah, I do have issues of getting lost. I didn't used to like tunnels because I didn't know my way out. I used to like get panicky in a like department store. I used to freak out in one of them, and then one of my first events, I was invited to do a tryout for a team, and I got given Draco tunnels for the tryout. Of all places, when you don't like places which are dark and you can get lost in. But yeah,
No, it's not like it's going into a Batcave.
I sorted that fear out.
But
and
yeah,
so one thing to bear in mind when you go to Shepton, obviously as with a lot of places, especially when you've got a group and you split up, is the sound traveling. That was I think the one thing that kind of, I wouldn't say spoiled the evening, but interfered when you were in certain locations within the prison, and you know you've got other people walking around, so the sound pollution between groups is just something.
But you might not have that though, Jackie. If it's just a small group, isn't it? If you're going, it's not
be a
big
small
public
group.
event.
Yeah, that's the thing about Sage. They don't allow many people on it, so they probably just have the 2 groups, and it's just.
Oh, that'd be awesome then.
Yeah.
Because we were meant to go to Drakelow with MJ, and unfortunately because of COVID, and then they shut down, didn't they? Which is a shame.
I might have been going on the same one as you then. Yeah, because
maybe.
Yeah, because I had one, and nightmare. But yeah, it was a great place, though, Drakelow, wasn't it? Have you been?
Yeah, well, the photo that I sent you actually for the link, that's Drakelow.
That was Drakelow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That was a long time ago. That was about five years ago now, I think.
That's brilliant.
Photo is it's the other tunnels.
What, Kelvedon?
Yeah, that's outside Kelvedon, that photo.
No, it's not. It's outside Drakelow.
Argument.
It's outside Drakelow.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a long time ago because I know because I had to scroll
Oh,
down
yes,
through
yeah, because I
a lot of
recognised
photos.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow,
recognised
that
it 'cause I
was
was going to
years
ask you
ago.
because you can see the little, in the background, the like arch and the door. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to mention that. Of course, it was. Yeah.
We must
yeah,
have a similar one then for outside Kelvedon.
probably.
We've probably got exactly the same pose.
Oh wow.
I hate that picture actually that I sent you, Jackie. My husband said you need to send another picture because you look wasted in that photo. I was like, well, I can assure you I wasn't. I was working.
Oh, bless you. Well, well
In other words, you look
supporting,
like
was
dog
it?
shit.
Didn't do an all-nighter. It's when he got out
Well, yeah.
after the event.
I looked rough before I got there. Got no hope, have I? 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, that's a good one, isn't it? That's it when you're doing all-nighter, dear me.
Oh God, yeah. Like then the paranormal hangover in the morning.
Oh God.
Well, we've
Yeah.
got 2 back to back. One on the Friday night and then one on the Saturday at the end of April. That's going to be a killer.
Oh no, nightmare.
Yeah, it's going to be a killer. I'll be a right grumpy cow for about a week afterwards.
Oh God, I'm terrible.
See you later,
Right.
Viv.
Take care. Cheers for the questions. Okay.
Bye bye, my
Thanks a lot,
darling.
Viv.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh gosh. So what are your plans then coming up? You do psychic fairs now, don't you? And you do
Yeah,
readings.
psychic fairs. I've kind of closed the diary now for the readings. I think I'm booked up to June with my readings now, but I've
Wow.
just not taken any more this year. And then psychic fairs. So we've got at least one psychic fair a month, at least one workshop a month, at least
Wow.
1-2 paranormal investigations a month. So yeah, it's getting busy. We've got really good places coming up actually. Like I say, we've got the Ram, we've got East Drive, we've got Hinchinbrook, Margam Castle, Kelvedon Nuclear Bunker. We've got a lot of the local ones as well, like the small sort of. We're quite blessed that we've got exclusive use of some of these venues as well. So that's really nice as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
busy,
but
busy, busy.
finding Harlington, that's a right gem, isn't it?
It was. Bear with me, Jacket. I just need my phone
Yeah,
charger's
that's fine.
not working. I need to plug my
Oh
phone
no. Yeah, I'll let you in if it goes wrong.
in.
Yeah. So do you help on the fairs as well, Titch?
Yes, I'm either helping on the front desk, or I'm actually promoting my own stuff, or I'm doing readings. I haven't done readings at fairs for quite a while, but we've got a few fairs coming up that I'll be doing some readings at.
Oh, brilliant. So I didn't know you did readings as well.
Yes.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so
A bit of a
kind of
multifunctional team.
get
Yeah,
involved
that's
in
it.
a load of stuff, because I'll often help Claire out with the workshops as well. So
Yeah.
kind of involved with everything really.
Oh, you just
Kirsty's like my
complement each other,
wingman.
don't you? You
She's my
just step
wingman,
in
aren't you,
where you
Titch?
needed. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really is.
yeah, and we work well together.
Yeah, definitely. Got great
Yeah.
energy. Like obviously I saw how you did Harlington and it was brilliant. Yeah.
That was hard work that weekend, you know. That
Yeah,
was such
Yeah, I know
hard
all
work.
that cooking you did.
yeah.
I think the guys were literally waited on hand and foot for like the whole weekend, from the Friday through to the Sunday. They
Oh
were
wow.
over at like 12 o'clock on Friday with lunches and dinners, and yeah, it was hard work, but you know, it was brilliant. I'll do it all again. It was wicked.
Yeah, it was
And we
fantastic. But the
had
thing
Lucy
is,
on. Yeah, we had Lucy on board with this, didn't we, that weekend as well? So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you
was
went
good.
to bed at stupid hour, like when we did, like we kind of left it too late, didn't we? And then
And then
there
up at
you are trying to
7.
sort out the breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, up again at 7. We did that both days. We are due to go back there in July for another weekend actually. So I've just got to have a meeting with the owner to sort of finalise that. So it'll be good.
Yeah. So if anybody does want to spend a weekend away, Harlington Manor, brilliant place, and that's with Claire's team. But yeah, it is a wonderful place, and it told a story, didn't it? And it was wonderful. Yeah.
yeah,
I think the best thing about it is that when because Kirsty and I, we actually got there on the Thursday night beforehand, just to sort of be prepared to set up and everything for the Friday people
Yeah.
arriving, and they had some guests staying that night. Now, bearing in mind that the owner had never ever had an experience in there himself and had never really felt anything, but he's always said he's a psychic as a brick. But nobody else had really ever said anything, so he wasn't too sure if it was haunted or what, because it's full of antiques, as you know, so the energies could be connected to them. And on the Thursday evening, one of the guests actually saw a full-on apparition walking down the hallway, so that was really exciting. He didn't know we were there, so it was almost like, oh, it's the ghosts, the spirits must know that we're here, and they're like, hello.
Oh my gosh, yay. That's brilliant. Yeah, but I like it about that property is that the owners, they are so friendly and so knowledgeable. Like, he will tell you everything he knows about the place, won't he? Or
he actually does a little house tours, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it. And he basically bought a property, and he's just tried to get it right, hasn't he?
And I think he has. I think he's succeeded in that. I think
he has,
what he's doing there is amazing.
He's got some interesting art in there, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a mix of different things, but yeah, it's just a wonderful place. It really is.
Yeah, particularly one of the paintings hanging up in the red room is a rather unusual painting.
Yes.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's some weird ornaments and things as well.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing about it, because a lot of the energies, it not all just connected to the property. I think a lot of it is coming in with all of those artifacts and things. You've got things that are like 2,000 years old.
Because there's one specific painting, wasn't there, what we're sort of all like intrigued by? We kind of felt that was the spirit connected with that painting. Well, I don't know if it, it turned out there was or wasn't, but I don't know. We're just drawn to that one painting more than any other.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do whatsoever with the house, but yeah.
Is that the one in the dining room?
Yes.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about that painting. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like follows you, watches you, doesn't it? And I know that most eyes do on paintings, but this one almost like stared right into your soul.
She was watching every move. Yeah. That dining room was beautiful. Well, you made it beautiful as well, didn't you?
It was nice. And that's the nice thing about it. It's got so many different, like the big room that we did like the presentation and stuff in was quite modern and airy and open and light, and then you've got the dining room, which is like very dark furniture, quite gothic-y, and then you've got the little tea room at the back, which is like a little cozy snug. Yeah, it's just lovely.
Yeah, it just had a sort of nice mix of everything, didn't it? Yeah, it was fantastic, and cheers for inviting us.
Good, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It sort of go down as really good.
It was
I've got
awesome,
so many good places I've been to, but that was absolutely awesome. Yeah,
it was an awesome weekend.
Yeah,
wait to do it all again.
Yay! So what's your next? You're doing the Spirit Affair, are you next?
So got Kirsty's managing a psychic fair for me on Saturday because I'm away, and then we've got workshop. Yeah. Then next Saturday I've got a workshop and a paranormal investigation at Westbury, and then the following week I've got another psychic fair, and then I might have a weekend off at the end of March, but I doubt it. And then going into April we get really busy, like Hinchingbrook, Margam Castle, then we've got Ramin, East Drive. So but in between all of those is workshops and psychic fairs, and yeah, so I love it. I absolutely don't get me wrong, there are days I sit here and I'm like, oh my god, how much easier it would be just to have a normal 9-to-5 job, or I come home in the evening and it's done. This job it's 24/7. I could literally work 24/7. But I am very lucky with the job that I have and what I do, so I can't complain.
Yeah, but
really.
you work hard at it as well.
I do. I work
team around you.
I do work hard, and I think my family do worry that I work too hard sometimes, but that's what you do when you're running your own business. Nobody pays your sick pay, nobody pays your pension for you. It's down to you and nobody else, and you've got to make the most of it and do as much as you can. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, but I had a pub, so yeah.
Oh right, okay, 24/7 as well.
Certainly, 80 hours a week. But yeah, that was endurance, let's call it. But you carry on, and you get up after. Yeah, my problem was that at late nights, so I wouldn't want to go to bed at 2 o'clock. have the occasional locking things like that, and then you've got to get up early for the next day to do the clean and the whole thing again. But yeah, it was Sunday when I was half dead, really, because you'd had the late Friday. Well, I'd had a pool match on a Thursday till late Friday, late Saturday, and then Sunday you're like, oh no.
And they're
But
busy days as well, aren't they? You've got a lot of people
yeah,
coming in then as well, haven't you?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
hospitality is difficult.
Yeah, it was fun though. Great times, mixed. Yeah, but all good.
I
So,
find it tends to catch up on you on like the Monday and Tuesday when you've had a full long
Yeah.
weekend.
oh
Spirit
gosh.
hangover, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of find it's bad on a Tuesday, but I've been
Mm.
shattered today, and I don't know why, because didn't stay out too late on Saturday night, and I went to bed early last night, and I just felt shattered today for some reason. But yeah.
Maybe just whatever was there on Saturday just took a lot of your energy. I think sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Some places they just take
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, that's right. We did the Estes method, and I felt a bit drained after that. You kind of do, don't you?
Mm.
But you know how you said about getting an image in your head when you did the Estes? Yvonne did that as well. She was getting images when she was doing that, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's like remote viewing. It's just like you're just completely in a completely different place. I could feel the water. I think my feet felt wet. I looked down and there was water covering my feet. It was so bizarre.
Wow,
So bizarre.
that is so strange.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm going to Haunted Antiques on Saturday. Yay.
Oh, right. You're going to come with us in July, aren't you?
Oh, am I? Oh,
Yeah, you
yes,
messaged me.
I've done it, haven't I? Yay! Of course it is. I've got so
But that's a
much on,
crazy
honestly.
place, isn't it?
Hey?
That's a crazy place in there.
Yeah, because you never know what you're going to
Crazy.
get next. Yeah, it's like the first time I didn't even know elementals existed, but they
Oh,
run
really?
around in the seance room, and much as though I was aware because everyone said that, and I'd heard some weird scratching and things like that. Hey Gary, how are you doing?
Hey Gary, how you doing?
Just
Hi,
talking about
Gary.
Haunted Antiques. I met Gary at Haunted Antiques. He came along and joined us once, which was a great night, and he sort of brought somebody through, as did my friend. Well, a few of us did that night. We just like getting picked up on at a time, which was brilliant. We like that sort of thing. But yeah, it was weird though because I was in the room one night in the seance room, and I was with a medium. All of a sudden, he started freaking out because he said, "What's those things on his feet?" So he could actually see the creatures running around the floor,
Oh, really?
which was great
Wow.
validation. Yeah,
I think that the nicest thing about there as well is obviously like Neil and Ames and the team. You know, they're
oh
so
gosh,
friendly,
yeah,
they're so welcoming. It's just,
yeah, that's it.
and you know how much that place means to them as well. That's the thing.
Gosh,
It's like they
yeah.
put their heart and soul into that place.
Well,
Absolutely.
especially like with the situation over lockdown, that was, yeah, but it's still there for us, which is great. But yeah,
And I suppose, Kirsty, that's probably why I think that the same with Sharnbrook. You know, Sharnbrook it was an old, I think it's like that the original stonework is like 1,000 years old. And it was originally a mill, and then it was left empty for a long, long time, and it was eventually sold off and bought by an amateur dramatics group
oh
who
wow,
have spent, yeah, and they've spent, you know, their last pound and worked their fingers to the bone to create this theatre.
yeah,
And it is their baby, and you know that
Yeah.
it's well loved. And you feel that when you go in there, you know that how much they
Yeah.
love it. And I think that makes a massive difference to the energy that you're working with in there.
yeah, definitely. Because I'm
Yes.
in a theatre group, and we have problems of where we can perform. It's hard. So if you have got your own place, then you are going to spend time, and yeah, you're going to work like the amount of time it takes us to do sets. But we've got we've got off-site storage. So we go there and we paint the set, and then we take it in a vehicle to wherever we're performing. But to actually have it in one place must be brilliant. And
Yeah, I think that's why they
you'd
built it. And
appreciate
that
it as well, wouldn't you?
I think the original seating, the seating in there is from a 1920s cinema.
Wow.
So it's like really old-fashioned seating. So yeah, you must
Okay.
try and visit there someday, Jackie. Like, come with us if you ever get the chance. I think you'd really like it in there.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that for next year.
Mm.
Because I'm booked up now this year. I want to get to where Mark Dudley likes, Ruthven. I've got to get to
Oh
Ruthven
yeah,
as well. I need to go there desperately, but yeah, I can't do
yeah,
anything
that
this year
looks
now.
good. Yeah, we would be
Yeah,
looking at booking for next year because I think our diary's now full up until May of next year now, which is great.
wow, that's
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah,
the year
keeps you on
is
your
full.
toes though, doesn't it? All those. But yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. But how do you suggest that? What do you suggest anybody does if you want to sort of go into mediumship then? What's your best how you do that, Claire?
I think ideally you need to find somebody who's got good reputation and word of
Yeah.
mouth, whether it be reviews, whatever, anything like that. Because unfortunately, and I do understand it, I do get it that people will automatically assume that all mediums are fakes and stuff like this because they're,
Oh,
but like with
yeah.
any
I was
kind
like
of.
that. I was like that. I admit it. Yeah,
But
I
then I
didn't
think
believe
like
in
with any
mediumship.
kind of service people, like there are dodgy mechanics, there are dodgy hairdressers, there are just
That's
dodgy
right,
people
yeah.
out there. And I think unfortunately with mediumship you do work with people that are very, very vulnerable, and I think that's and so I do understand that there is a level of hesitation around what we do, but I
That's
would
right.
definitely suggest finding someone through word of mouth. Look for a local spiritualist church or something like that, and find someone that does do development. It's very important that if you do go and see somebody that's doing development and they're not talking to you about psychic protection and how to keep yourself safe, how to open up and close down, then I would think very carefully about the person that you're working with, because the first thing that you do before you do anything regarding spirit or working with spirit is how to keep yourself safe. You wouldn't, in any kind of vulnerable situation, you wouldn't open yourself up to anything. You wouldn't go out in the street at night at 3 o'clock in the morning on your own into a crowded place of people like men and stuff you never knew. You wouldn't do that. So it's understanding that when you are working with spirit, yes, a lot of it is nice and it is lovely and there are some pleasant spirits out there, but as we all know, there are also some buggers out there, and some
Yeah,
bad
that's true.
spirits that will try, not necessarily try to hurt you, because I've been to so many places that are famously the most haunted place and dark and stuff, and I've never been hurt. I've only ever once did somebody try to push me down the stairs, and in another place I was assaulted. But 9 times out of 10, I've not ever had that kind of experience. But it's more the energy, it's more what they take from you and how they can, zap the life out of you. So then your physical health starts to deteriorate, your mental
Yeah.
health then starts to deteriorate. So it's not necessarily about being scratched or punched or thrown across the room. It's what they do to you afterwards. It can go on for months and months and months, even years.
Yeah, I've had issues. Yeah, I sorted them, but yeah, I've had issues before.
Yeah. But yeah, so
That's
just
a
finding somebody
protection
in the
issue.
local area is a good thing, like workshop circles, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. But thank you, both of you. It's been absolutely brilliant.
No, you're
It
welcome.
has been. It's really, really good.
Really enjoyed it. So I'm going to put a link on the show so people know how to contact you. And obviously they can check the events out as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yes, we
Jackie,
know.
would you mind also putting a link up for Titch for her page as well, for her sound
Yes, I will
therapy?
do. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
will do. Yeah. I'll put it in the header. Yeah, I know. I'm good at that, aren't I? I do know how to protect myself. I really do. I was always told and taught to protect myself. I was, and I know how to do it.
Doesn't always work though, does it? And I think if you're already in a low place energy wise or whatever, and you're going in and you're asking for that protection, it's your energy is fundamentally what is protecting you as well. So if it is compromised in any way, the protection isn't as great as it should be, is it? So
Oh, I took something
Yeah.
nasty camping with me. I had a right week of it. It coincided with Storm ENF as well, and it was an F storm. But yeah, it's horrendous. But yeah, and I've got this horrible bloke with me. Oh dear, spirit. Oh dear, weren't good. Yeah, got rid of him after a while.
unfortunately, I had one with me for a number of years, caused absolute chaos in my life, absolute
Oh my
chaos.
gosh. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah,
But
it can happen.
as difficult as that was at the time, and as testing it was at the time, actually the lessons that I learned from that helped me with what I do now. You know
Oh,
what I
mate, it
mean?
was a leaking tent. It stood up to the 65-mile-an-hour winds, but unfortunately,
Oh,
it
I
literally had the
remember
river
that.
flow through it. Yeah, when I
And
went to
wasn't
Northumberland.
and wasn't it long after that you ended up in a field on a hot air balloon or a car park or something?
Yes, that was a dodgy one. Yeah,
Haunted hot air
I took
balloon.
up I took up hot air ballooning basically to get me away from paranormal because I kind of wanted to walk away, and I thought that would. Well, I thought it was going to kill me at one stage, but hey, life goes on. But yeah, we survived. Yeah, when you're in a hot air balloon and it's running out of gas, well, it had no gas.
That must be
And
so
it's been allowed.
scary.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
I have to hide the haunted tent out. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Somebody can
Wicked.
waterproof it for me. I've actually posted a picture of that tent on my timeline today, as happens. Yeah. But
Well,
I've
water's a
got,
good cleanser.
yeah, well and truly cleansed it. Yeah. A little paddling pool inside it. It was like horrendous. But yeah, but thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, make sure you
Thanks,
protect
everyone.
yourself. Like
Thank
Claire says, you
you.
need to protect yourself. And
Yeah.
cheers. Look after yourself. Take
Cheers.
care.
You.
See you
See
soon.
you
Nice to
later,
see you,
guys.
Lois.
Bye.
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 Bye.